Hello, everybody, and welcome to the WisconsinPrepZone.com Week 8 Scoreboard Show. I'm Rob Hernandez. He's Dennis Semrau. And Dennis, we've got a lot to get to. We'll combine some key scores with a look at the playoff field, which came out tonight. And let's start first with the game you were at tonight, our WisconsinPrepZone.com Game of the Week. It was by far the biggest game in the area tonight. Waunakee, Mount Horeb-Barneveld. Waunakee, a 13-10 winner. The winning streak continues. They go into the postseason on a roll, presumably a number one seed, and they escape Mount Horeb-Barneveld with the win.
Well, the two toughest games they had early in the year were back-to-back, Monona Grove and DeForest, and they proved to be an asset, I think, tonight. 13-10, rallied for the win in the fourth quarter. Tyler Reynolds, outstanding, 32 rushes for 107 yards, 3 stitches after the game to go with the 3 he got last week, and first time I've had to wait to do a post-game interview with that before.
But for a good reason, and we hope Tyler is okay for next week, is, as we said, the Waunakee Warriors roll into the season, the postseason, with an unbeaten record. One other score of note in the Northern Badger tonight, DeForest, a 30-0 winner over Reedsburg. Dennis, DeForest goes in as the third-place team in the Northern Badger Conference. Southern Badger tonight, a play-in game of sorts in the Southern Badger. Monroe and Stoughton. Monroe scores the 14-9 victory over Stoughton. Dennis, the first time since 2003 that the once perennial power cheesemakers have gotten back into the postseason field.
Yeah, tough one for Stoughton. They had a big senior class, and they started out very well and had high aspirations. Monroe, though, a team that was 0-9 just a few years ago, looks back in the playoffs.
Big 8 conference tonight. Madison La Follette needed to win to get in. They did not get it done. They fall 35-19 on homecoming at Middleton. The Cardinals go in now as a fourth-place team in the Big 8. They tie for fourth place with Madison Memorial. The Spartans tonight, 58-0 winners over Beloit Memorial. Joe Ferguson sat out that one with his leg issue, but no problem as Madison Memorial rolls into the postseason. Sun Prairie wraps up an unbeaten conference season with a 55 win over Madison East, and Verona wins the battle for second place tonight, rallying to beat Madison West at Mansfield Stadium 39-29. The Wildcats finish 7-1 in conference play. And Dennis, before we go to the postseason, the playoff field, as we will quick run through the area teams. We also should note that some history made in Deerfield tonight, an unbeaten conference season there, as Deerfield wraps up the conference title with a 47-6 win over Horicon. A lot of activity tonight in the Northern Rock Valley Conference. Evansville-Albany knocks off East Troy 42-32. That forges a three-way tie for the title, along with Jefferson. So East Troy, Evansville-Albany, and Jefferson sharing the Northern Rock title. McFarland had a chance to, but they lose to Edgerton tonight, 27-13. More on that in a second. In the Capital Conference tonight, both Marshall and Lakeside Lutheran close out unbeaten conference seasons. Marshall, 54-0 winner over Wisconsin Heights, and Lakeside Lutheran, they shut out Watertown Luther Prep 31-0. Lake Mills, a 34-27 winner over Columbus. That's significant, and we'll tell you why in a minute. And Lodi keeps Poinet out of the playoffs. The Blue Devils win 10-6. Dennis, any other results that really jump out here on Week 8? I think those are the big ones, but the two biggies, Lake Mills and Edgerton, you want to tell our fans why that's such a big deal?
A little history. First time in the playoffs, a sub-500 record in the conference has gotten you there. But Lake Mills was 5-3 overall, 2-3 in the conference. We had 4 teams, 2 of them locally, along with Superior and Pacelli, that made it in.
And again, talked to a caller tonight from Mertzon Center, said the Hornets are planning to play Edgerton in one of the Week 9 add-on games for teams not in the postseason. Looks like the Hornets will have to find a different opponent. Their team, Edgerton, that they were supposed to play in the postseason. Dennis, speaking of the postseason, let's run through the area teams here in Division 1. Madison West, Middleton, Sun Prairie, Madison Memorial, and Verona, all playoff bound. 5 teams out of the Big 8. There'll be 18 groupings. We would expect perhaps someone from the Milwaukee area to come over. There isn't a whole lot. You'd have to go to Wisconsin Valley to come south. Any thoughts on what you expect out of the Big 8? Sun Prairie, obviously, the team that everyone's looking at with that unbeaten record.
Well, you look at Arrowhead ranked number 1 in the state in the Associated Press poll, Sun Prairie number 3. Keep those teams in separate quadrants. That's all I want. And finally, a Big 8 has an unbeaten conference champion. They don't have to take a backseat to anybody. There should be no reason why they're not a number 1 seed.
We shall see. The regional groupings, the seeding meetings will take place this morning. We'll have more on that in a minute. Division 2 field locally, Watertown, Waunakee, The 3-time defending state champions, one of only 4 local teams in the field, DeForest and Fort Atkinson.
Which was a surprise team preseason we thought would be in Division III.
The 5th smallest team, the Fort Atkinson Blackhawks, in Division III, in Division II. In Division III, a surprise, Monona Grove, the 2nd largest Division III team. Again, we thought maybe the Silver Eagles would be on a crash course for Wanakee again. They have such a great postseason rivalry. We had the great Week 1 matchup, but Dennis, they're one of the largest schools in Division III. How does that play for the Silver Eagles?
Well, now West of Pier, who's been a power in Division III the last few years, are going to have to go through them to win a title, but also through Mount Horror-Barneveld.
Mount Horror-Barneveld, one of the other local teams in the field in Division III. Reedsburg, Monroe, McFarland, Evansville, Albany, Madison, Edgewood, Jefferson, East Troy, and Wisconsin Dells. So one of the highest density of local teams in Division III. Division IV, another division with a lot of local interest. Lodi, Walworth, Bigfoot, Edgerton, Platteville, River Valley, Broadhead, Judah, Montello, Princeton, Green Lake, Nakusa, Watoma, Lake Mills. Again, Lake Mills, one of those teams with the sub-500 conference record into the postseason. Marshall, New Glarus, Monticello, Lakeside Lutheran. Dennis, last year, Walworth Bigfoot moved up to D3. This year, they're back in D4. They've had a great season. I think that's a bonus for the Chiefs of Walworth Bigfoot.
It is, and it's the 3rd largest school right behind Lodi. 13 local teams, nearly half the playoff field in Division 4.
Division 5, only a handful of local teams, 3 in fact. Lancaster, Partyville, and Cuba City, 2 of the 3, Dennis, unbeaten as Cuba City wins the SWAL title with an unbeaten 7-0 conference record. They're 8-0 overall. Lancaster goes 5-0 in the SWC. They're 8-0 overall. Hard not to separate those two because they're so close to one another.
Right, and Cuba City, the smallest school in the division, was shocked and ends up as the largest in Division 6. Be curious to find out how that tiebreaker, since they have the same enrollment, how that was decided. Same
enrollment last year at 253, which is the enrollment used for postseason play in all sports in the 2012-2013 school year. However, the enrollment this year, their September enrollment, apparently also identical, so it would appear, at least on paper, that Cuba City went alphabetical and went up, but we'll talk to Wade Lebecki, and you can check WisconsinPrepZone.com for the full explanation there. Darlington, Deerfield, Necedah, Iowa Grant, Kickapoo, Lafarge, Fenimore, Peck, Argyle, Bangor, those are your area schools in Division 6. Dennis, Deerfield capping that unbeaten conference season and an overall record 7-0 by WIA ruling because they're the game with the homeschool school from the southeastern part of the state not counted in this, but a great year for the Deerfield Demons.
It'd be interesting. They were in the state finals a few years ago, and I also seem to remember they had a musical they were practicing for at the same time. It'd be interesting to find out what other activities the Deerfield Demons are in.
Final Act St. Mary's Springs, one of the powerhouses in Division 6, so probably the team that Deerfield at some point will have to contend with again this season. Eau Claire Regis, another school with a lot of key wins this year in Division 6. Wrapping it up with Division 7, Dennis, New Lisbon, DeSoto, Randolph, Johnson Creek, Hillsboro, Rio, North Crawford, Blackhawk, Potosi, Ithaca, Belmont, and Highland, your area teams in, and throw in Fall River there too. Don't want to forget the Pirates. A lot of local interest in Division 7, including the 3 smallest schools in the 224 team field. Ithaca, 96 students, Belmont, 81, Highland, 75. I know you love the small schools.
Oh, yes, you bet. This time of year, they're going to bring the whole town. There's not going to be a lot of people there, but the whole town will be here.
And I think the whole county will be there for some of those schools. But, Dennis, the way things go now is we sign off here on a late Friday night, early Saturday morning. We know the 224 team field. We do not know the regional groupings at this hour. Those will be made available by early morning, at which time the coaches will be told where to go for a seating meeting set to take place throughout the state at 11 a.m. And the pairings are to be to the WIA offices by 1 p.m. We'll know then where we're going next week and where everybody else is going. It could be Friday, it could be Saturday, but we'll know soon enough here on Saturday afternoon.
8 weeks regular season, 5 weeks of playoffs. Here we come.
All right, that's your scoreboard show for tonight. Week 8 in the books, the regular season in the books. The playoffs are next. For Dennis Summerall, I'm Rob Hernandez. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.